विनायक नमस्तुभ्यं सततं मोदकप्रिय निर्विघ्नं कुरु नो देव सर्वकार्येषु सर्वदा सरस्वती नमस्तुभ्यं वरदे कामरूपिणि विद्यारम्भं करिष्यामः सिद्धिर्भवतु नो सदा गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुः गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुः साक्षात् परं ब्रह्म तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। श्रीराम राम रामेति रमे रामे मनोरमे सहस्रनाम तत्तुल्यं रामनाम वरानने आपदामपहर्तारं दातारं सर्वसंपदां लोकाभिरामं श्रीरामं भूयो भूयो नमाम्यहम्। रामाय रामभद्राय रामचन्द्राय वेधसे रघुनाथाय नाथाय सीतायाः पतये नमः। श्रीराघवं दशरथात्मजमप्रमेयं सीतापतिं रघुकुलान्वयरत्नदीपम् आजानुबाहुमरविन्ददलायताक्षं रामं निशाचर विनाशकरं नमामि। श्री रघुराम चारु तुलसीदलधाम शमक्षमादिशृंगार गुणाभिराम त्रिजगन्नत शौर्य रमाललाम दुर्वारुकबन्ध राक्षस विराम जगज्जन कल्मषार्णवोत्तारक नाम भद्रगिरिदाशरथी करुणापयोनिधि आञ्जनेयमतिपाटलाननं काञ्चनाद्रिकमनीय विग्रहं पारिजाततरुमूलवासिनं भावयामि पवमाननन्दनं यत्र यत्र रघुनाथकीर्तनं तत्र तत्र कृतमस्तकाञ्जलिं बाष्पवारि परिपूर्णलोचनं मारुतिं नमत राक्षसान्तकं बुद्धिर्बलं यशोधैर्यं निर्भयत्वमरोगता अजाड्यं वाक्पटुत्वं च हनूमत्स्मरणात् भवेत्। कूजन्तं राम रामेति मधुरं मधुराक्षरम् आरुह्य कविता शाखां वन्दे वाल्मीकिकोकिलम्। सुप्रभातम्। अद्यतन पंचांगं फेब्रुवरी 6 प्लवनाम संवत्सरे उत्तरायणे शिशिरऋतौ माघमासे शुक्लपक्षे षष्ठी तिथिः till 6:07 p.m. भानुवासरः, we didn't update that. Today is भानुवासरः. Ashwini nakshatram आरात्रो, so that means throughout the night, that means even till beyond tomorrow sunrise. Bharani, after that Bharani nakshatram. Shubha yoga till 6:14 a.m. tomorrow morning, followed by Shukla yoga. Taitala karanam till 6:07 following with the tithi. After that Gara karanam till tomorrow 6:51 a.m. followed by Vanik karanam. Sarvebhyah suprabhatam. So last time we saw in the 55th sarga, we are late, so 10 minutes late, so I'm quickly wrapping up. We saw where when Viśwāmitra tried to ruin the entire ashrama, Vasiṣṭha said, Nashayamyaham. He, for example, what was the last set of shlokas he said is, Ashramam chirasamruddham yad vinashitavanasi duracharosi tanmudha tasmatvam na bhavishyasi ityuktva paramakruddho dandamudyamya. He lifts his danda. Dandamudyamya satvaraha vidhumamiva kalagrim yamadandam ivaparam. So he raises his danda as if it is kalagni without dhuma. So much, such a powerful krodha he was filled with, Vasiṣṭha was filled with. So we are now seeing what happens after that. Atha षट्पञ्चाशत् सर्गः एवमुक्तो वसिष्ठेन विश्वामित्रो महाबलः आग्नेयमस्त्रमुक्षिप्य तिष्ठ तिष्ठेति चाब्रवीत्. So एवमुक्तः वसिष्ठेन. So thus after Vishwamitra, after Vasiṣṭha said that I tvam na bhavishyasi, because you tried to destroy this long cherished ashrama, you shall not exist anymore. He said that. So for that, in reply, Vishwamitra Mahabalaha Agneyam Astram Utkshipya. Now he raises the bow to release Agneya Astram. That means he's going to set it on fire. Agneyam astram utkshipya tishtha, tishtha. Wait, you shall see whether, you are saying, I will not exist. Let us see who will not. Tishtha, tishtha. Wait, let us see. Brahmadandam samutshipya.
Brahmadandam samutshipya.
Kaladandamivaparam.
Kaladandamivaparam.
Vasiṣṭho bhagavan krodhat.
Vasiṣṭho bhagavan krodhat.
Idam vachanam abravit.
Idam vachanam abravit.
So tishtha said Viśwāmitra, and he released Agneyastram, right? So Brahmadandam samutshipya, utkshipna means to raise it up. Utkshipya, what did he raise up? Brahmadandam. Vasiṣṭha raised his Brahmadanda. Brahmadandam samutshipya, kaladandam ivaparam. Again, Valmiki is saying it over time and again, that it is equivalent to kaladanda. That means end of time for that person, for the opponent. So kaladandam iva aparam, just as another kaladanda, Vasiṣṭha raised his Brahmadanda, and krodhat, with anger, with fury, idam vachanam abravit. He said this following sentence. What did he say? Kshatrabandho sthitosmyeshah.
Kshatrabandho sthitosyesha.
Yad balam tad vidarshaya.
Yad balam tad vidarshaya.
Nashayam yadyate darpam.
Nashayam yadyate darpam.
Tava shastrasya tava gadhija.
Shastrasya tava gadhija.
So he's saying, hey Kshatrabandho. There is a usage. Bandhu is used generally in the good sense. But to ridicule somebody who is not doing his dharma properly is also used, that one. Brahma Bandhu is also used, for example, for those Brahmanas who are not following their dharma properly. Those who diverted and went into bad habits, etc., they are called Brahma Bandhus. Or those who are not supporting the cause of the Brahmana Dharma, then they are called Brahma Bandhus. But in a positive sense also, you can say Brahma Bandhu means, hey, good Brahma friend. So likewise, Kshatriya Bandhu here is more of a ridiculing style. That derogatory style, yes. So Vasiṣṭha is saying, hey, Kshatriya Bandhu, what Kshatriya are you? You are trying to fight with a rishi, and that too in ashrama. So Kshatriya Bandhu, he's saying. So Kshatriya Bandhu, sthitaha asmi. I am standing here. You are saying tishta tishta. I am not running away. I am standing here. Sthitaha asmi. Eshaha. Sthitaha asmi eshaha. This Vasiṣṭha is standing here. Eshaha is this. This meaning ye khada hai yahan. Which means my. Instead of saying my, when you try to say it very dramatically, then you'll say this fellow is standing here, which means I am. So he's saying I am standing here. This fellow is standing. Yad balam tad vidarshaya. Show me your balam. Let us see. You said you will release Agneyastram. Release it. Whatever else you have, let's release it. Let us see. Nashayami adya. I shall ruin all of your te darpam. He's not talking about your astras. He's saying your te darpam. Whatever is your arrogance, I shall, decimate that. Nashayami adya te darpam. Shastrasya tava gadhija. Because you think you have so much of armory, so much weapons, the arrogance based on that, I shall, decimate it, zero it, nullify it today. Saying Vasiṣṭha to Viśwāmitra. Gadhija, oh Gadhija, Kshatrabandho, yad balam tad vidarshaya, te shastrasya darpam adya nashayami, is what he is replying. Kvachate kshatriya balam.
Kvachate kshatriya balam.
Kvacha brahma balam mahat.
Kvacha brahma balam mahat.
Pashya brahma balam divyam.
Pashya brahma balam divyam.
Mama kshatriya pamsana.
Mama kshatriya pamsana.
So he's arguing further, saying, Kvacha te kshatriya balam. Hey, what is your kshatriya balam, which is more of physical strength? Kvacha brahma balam mahat. Where is brahma balam? Where is kshatriya balam? Where is brahma balam? Kshatriya balam is more of physical strength with swords and astras. But brahma balam is beyond that. It is more yogic power. It is divine spiritual power. So where is your kshatriya balam and where is brahma balam? Which is that to mahat brahma balam, the great brahma balam. Because he is directly son of Brahmasutta, he is son of Brahma, who is the creator of this entire universe. So what is my strength and what is your kshatriya strength? And he is not saying my and your. He is saying, what is kshatriya balam and what is brahma balam. Just know the difference is what he is trying to remind him. Pasya brahma balam divyam mama. Now you shall see my divine brahma balam, brahma strength. Mama divyam brahma balam pasya. See my divine brahma balam. Kshatriya pamsana. He is again using one more. So to understand this kshatriya bandhu, was it in a positive sense or in a negative sense? The next usage here, kshatriya pamsana, is this tells that, kshatriya bandhu is also in the same line as kshatriya pamsana. Kshatriya pamsana means kshatriya adhama. Again, going back to Kalidasasya Raghuvamsha. Second sarga, first shloka itself. Tato kuranyasa pavitra pamsum apamsulanam dhurikirtaniya margam manushyeshwara dharmapatni shruterivartham smritiranva gachat. I think we discussed this shloka very long back when we were talking about smriti, shruti. How just as smriti always follows shruti. That means shruti is the baseline when in conflict, never to violate that. So just as a smriti follows shruti, so also dharmapatni, manushyeshwarasya dharmapatni, the woman, the wife of the Lord of all men, of all the people, which means the king, who was Dilip Chakravarti there. And they were following, she was following what? She was following Tasyaha Kuranyasa Pavitra Pamsum. Kuranyasa is Kura is the foot, the cow's feet with the two split, right? That is called Kuranyasa. Tasyaha, of what? Of the Surabhi. Again, Vasiṣṭha's Surabhi only. The Shavala, the same Nandini. So Tasyaha Kuranyasa Pavitra Pamsum. Pamsum is dust. Dust actually, or anything dirt. Rather than dust, it is dirt. Which means anything, otherwise supposedly nobody will want to take it. That is Pamsu. So Tasyaha Kuranyasa Pamsum, which is Pavitra. Because Nandini is walking, even though it is dirt, dust, it is all Pavitra Pamsuhu. And immediately, because Kalidasa, Valmiki, all of them, immediately they will put a rhyming word equivalent to it. Apamsulanam dhurikirtaniya. That Sudeshna, who is a Kirtaniya, means who is always praised, who has to be praised, and the most praiseworthy. The most praiseworthy Dhuri, with such great fame, of whom Apamsulanam. Pamsu is dirt, so corrupted, bad. Apamsu, not bad, which means the best, good. Apamsulanam, of all such impeccable, of all such impeccable people, the one praiseworthy, such Manushyeshwara Dharmapatni was following that Nandini, Tasyaha. There it is, Sa was, in the first sarga, Sa was described there. So, her Kuranyasam, she is following, just as Shrutehi Artham Smritihi Iva. The meaning, the spirit behind Shruti just as never is violated, even though it's corrected by time. Over time, we keep changing things. We changing achar, we change our paddhatis, but the spirit is never forgotten. The spirit is never changed. So apamsu, pamsuhu. So pamsaha, pamsana means, hey, you dirty fellow. The dirty of the kshatriyas, the worst of the kshatriyas is the meaning here. Kshatriya pamsana. So just to say that pamsa, I went into that shloka. So kshatriya pamsana, mama divyam brahmabalam pasya. Now you see my the divine Brahma power. Tasyastram gadhiputrasya ghoram agneyamuddyatam.
घोरमाग्नेयं मुक्ततं
Ghoram agneyam udyatam.
घोरमाग्नेय उद्यतं
Brahmadandena tachantam.
ब्रह्मदण्डेन तच्छान्तं
Agner ivambhasa.
अग्निर्वेग इवाम्भसा.
Again, nice upama here. So tasya astram. So while these 2-3 sentences Vasiṣṭha and Viśwāmitra were talking, Viśwāmitra has already released his Agneya astram, right? Because in the very first shloka is saying Agneyam astram utkshipya. He has already thrown the Agneya astram. So tasya astram, tasya gadhiputrasya astram, which is also ghoram agneyam udyatam, one which is already coming up, coming onto Vasiṣṭha, facing him, coming and facing him. Ghoram udyatam agneyam astram tasya gadhiputrasya brahmadandena. With the brahmadanda, Vasiṣṭha with the brahmadanda, tat chantam, he has shantam, he has pacified it. Even though it is Agneya astram, which would come and set everything on blaze, burn everything into ashes. But tat shantam. So it was sort of pacified. With what? With the brahmadanda. How? He gives this simile here. Agner vega iva ambhasa. Ambhas is water. So normally what happens when anything is set on fire, we all see, right? Immediately we call 911, and then the fire truck comes. And what do? Boom, brrr, they throw water on it to put the fire off, right? So the same example is taken here. Agnehe vegaha ambhasa yatha chantam tatha brahmadandena ghoram udyatam agneyam astram gadhiputrasya tasya chantam is the anvaya of it. So just as even a powerful fire that is coming up is put off by water, ambhasa, tritiya vibhakti, ambhasa. So also with brahmadandena, with the brahmadanda, that agneya astram was put off. Varunam chaiva raudram cha.
Varunam chaiva raudram cha.
Aindram pashupatam tatha.
Aindram pasupatam tatha.
Aishikam chapi chikshepa.
Aishikam chapi chikshepa.
Kupito gadhinandanaha.
Kupito gadhinandanaha.
So now kupitaha. What? I released Agneya astram and that thing just got put off. So immediately with kupitaha, with anger, chikshepa, he again released. What all he released? Gadhinandanaha. What all did he release? Varunastram cha, and Raudram, Rudras astram cha, and Aindram, Indras astram, Pashupatam, Pashupatis astram, Aishikam cha. There is another one, Ishika, that is how the name Ishika. I always used to, before I learned Sanskritam and got into HSS, with that Telugu only limited word, Ishika, I never heard that word before. And I thought, what is this name? Ishika. But now that we know Aishikam, of Ishika is Aishikam. So all these astras, one by one, Viśwāmitra was releasing them. And what happens? And he is continuing further, which means, why did he have to release so many one after another? Because every one that he is releasing, vasiṣṭha is just cooling it down, or putting it down with his brahmadanda. That's all. vasiṣṭha is not taking bow and playing anything else. With the brahmadanda alone, he is able to counter all the astras that Viśwāmitra is releasing. And hence, he is releasing one by one. He is exhausting all the astras that he has acquired from Mahashiva, Mahadeva. We have seen right before when he went for tapas. He said, give me all the astras that all species have, that you have given to all the species so far. That means I want to have every weapon, every astra with me. That is not there. Is already. I do not want to miss any astra that is already held by anyone in this world. That was his varam that he asked, and he got it. So one by one, he is exhausting all those astras that he obtained just to fight for one, that Surabhi or that Shabala, and for that ashrama, just for ego sake. So he's continuing. Manavam mohanam chaiva.
Manavam mohanam chaiva.
Gandharvam swapanam tatha.
Gandharvam swapanam tatha.
Jrumbhanam madanam chaiva.
Drumbhanam madanam chaiva.
Santapana vilapane.
Santapana vilapane.
Soshanam dharanam chaiva.
Soshanam dharanam chaiva.
Vajramastram sudurjayam.
Vajramastram sudurjayam.
Brahmapasham kalapasham.
Brahmapasam kalapasam.
Varunam pashamevacha.
Varunam pasamevacha.
Painakastram cha dayitam.
Painakastram cha dayitam.
Sushkardre ashani ubhe.
Sushkardre asani ubhe.
Dandastramatha paishacham.
Dandastramatha paisacham.
Kraunchamastram tathaivacha.
Kraunchamastram tathaivacha.
Dharmachakram kalachakram.
Dharmachakram kalachakram.
Vishnuchakram tathaivacha.
Vishnuchakram tathaivacha.
Vayavyam mathanam chaiva.
Vayavyam madhanam chaiva.
Astram haya shiras tatha.
Astram haya shiras tatha.
Shaktidvayam cha chikshepa.
Shaktidvayam cha chikshepa.
Kankalam musalam tatha.
Kankalam musalam tatha.
Vaidyadharam mahastrancha.
Vaidyadharam mahastrancha.
Kalastramatha darunam.
Kalastramatha darunam.
Trishulamastram ghoram cha.
Trisulamastram ghoram cha.
Kapalamatha kankanam.
Kapalamatha kankanam.
Etanyastrani chikshepa.
Etanyastrani chikshepa.
Sarvani raghunandana.
Sarvani raghunandana.
Vasiṣṭhe japatam sreshthe.
Vasiṣṭhe japatam sreshthe.
Tadadbhutamiva bhavat.
Tadadbhutamiva bhavat.
So Shatananda is continuing the story by saying, "O Raghunandana, etani astrani, all these astras, sarvani, all these astras, chikshepa, he has released one after another all these astras. Unto whom? Unto Vasiṣṭhe japatam sreshthe. Unto Vasiṣṭha, who is the best of the japis. So just as in each, so Vasiṣṭha is known for his japa. That is what we are realizing over and over. Japatam varaha, japatam sreshthe. Valmiki is constantly repeating this specific, this specific adjective for us to know that Vasiṣṭha, how should we recognize Vasiṣṭha? How should we remember Vasiṣṭha as? Vasiṣṭha Maharshi is Japatam Varaha. His Varam, the best of all those who do japas. That means Mana, Vakka, Karmana, Api, Trikarana Shuddhya, Japaha Karoti, Iti, Saha Japatam Sreshtha. So that is what is being. So now if you see all the astras, how many astras Viśwāmitra has exhausted, all of them that he has obtained from Mahadeva. So then he continued with the Varunam, that was over. Then Manavam, Mohanam Chaiva. There is one Manavastra. If you see, even today we say human bomb. Have you heard that? For terrorists, they say human bomb. May not be exactly that, but that is another name. Now, some of the details we do not know of whose is it, but these are all astras, which means, I hope all of you have also mentioned this. What they say, our elderly people, what they say, all these astras, astra can be applied on anything. Astra can be applied on material world outside. Astra can also be applied on rogas. When people are into various problems, physical health problems, mental problems, also these astras are used. For example, they say study Sudarshana Stotram, right? Because Sudarshanam is also one astram of Vishnu's. So likewise, all these astras are divine astras. They're not mere weapons. So even though I just said Manava is like human bomb, which is a material thing, but just to say that, but otherwise these are all astras, so divine ones. Even by repeating these names, they say all our negative energies, etc., are lost or subsided. So Manavam, Manavastram, Mohanam. So this is another astra. If you see normal or Puranic movies, and then that fellow falls. So one which is intoxicating. Mohanam cha. Gandharvam, of the Gandharvas. Swapanam, one which puts you to sleep. Swapanam tatha. Jrumbhanam, yawning. That means he gets tired. These are all simple, like that laughing gas kind of a thing, right? These are simpler astras which you don't want to kill the other person, but you want to weaken them that moment. Momentarily, you want to weaken them so that then you can escape from there. Because you don't want to kill unnecessarily, right? So those such astras are these. Jrumbhanam, Madanam Chaiva, Santapana Vilapanam. There is Santapanam is one which heats you up. Vilapanam, one which makes you cry. Soshanam, Soshanam is again dries you up. Dharanam, wets you up. Chaiva, Vajram Astram, Vajrastram. And Sudurjayam, very name is saying one which cannot be won over easily. Durjayam, Dukhena Jayam, Sulabhamna, Sudurjayam, Brahmapasham, Brahmapasha, which is a thread kind of an astra. Brahmapasham, Kalapasham. So far these were all astras that you release through Bana. Now these are all pashas. Pasha is through a rope. Brahmapasha, Kalapasha, Varunam Pashamevacha. So Varunastra comes both as a Bana, as ultimately astra can be applied on anything. And even you can take a grass and you can, with the mantra, release it, it works. But typical materials used, in these cases, these are all pashas. Brahma Pasha, Kala Pasha, Varuna Pasha. So Varunam Pashamevacha. And then some more astras. Pinaka Astram, Pinaka. Pinaka is Shiva's Dhanush. So Pinakam, the one typically used in that Pinaka. So Pinakastram cha Dayitam, Dayitastra. Sushka ardre, one which dries up and wets. Sushka ardre, ashini ubhe, ashani ubhe. Ashani is which eats up. Ubhe, which eats up by Sushka and ardre, by both ubhe. And some, by drying up also you have consumed it, or by wetting you dissolve it. Either ways you would have consumed it. Then dandastram, danda astram, tatha paishacham. There is a pishachastram also. So paishacham, krauncham astram. There is a krauncha astram tathaivacha. And now several chakras. If you see all these, most of these, that Viśwāmitra gives to Rama, if you remember, in the beginning, when first day, that evening, when he has to kill Tataka, Viśwāmitra gives all these astras, and we have read all these names there. Dharma Chakra, Kala Chakra, Vishnu Chakra, several of these, right? Because all these he obtained. Of course, he has exhausted them against Vasiṣṭha now. But later when he realizes and becomes a great soul, he gives all these astras to Rama. So if we should, that's how recollect it. So Dharma Chakram, Kala Chakram, Vishnu Chakram, Tathaivacha, Vayavyam, Mathanam, astras. And then there is also Hayashira, Hayagriva, Hayashira, Haya is horse. Shakti Dvayam Cha, there is two Shaktis by name Kankalam, Musalam. Kankalam is a ring kind of a thing. Musalam is a big, not a big, what do you say? A pierce kind of a thing. Vaidyadharam Mahastram Cha Kalastram Athadarunam. So there is Vaidyadhara, Kalastra. So many astras are released by Viśwāmitra. Trishulam Astram Ghoram Cha. He also released the Trishula Astra, again from Mahadeva. Kapalam, Kapala. So Kapalam, related to Kapala is Kapalam, again given by Mahadeva. Kankanam, Kankanam is another ring kind of a thing that you release. Etani astrani chikshepa sarvani raghunandana. Vasiṣṭhe japatam sreshṭhe. With all this, tad adbhutam iva bhavat. With all this, it seemed like a incredible, unbelievable scene. Adbhutam, it became like a miracle that so many astras, each astra coming up with so much power, and by the time it reaches Vasiṣṭha, it becomes zero. So looking at, if for all the witnesses, this is seeming like a adbhutam. Wow, what is going on? Tani sarvani dandena.
Tani sarvani dandena.
Grasate brahmanas sutaha.
Grasate brahmanas sutaha.
So simple. Whereas for Viśwāmitra, he has listed so many astras that he has released. Tani sarvani, all of them. Dandena, with this just the Brahmadanda. Brahmanaha sutaha, son of Brahma, who is Vasiṣṭha. Grasate. Grasanam means something like swallow. That's it. Boom. You swallow. So that is called grasanam. Grasate. With this Brahmadanda, all these astras were simply boom. They are sucked into by the Brahmadanda into vacuum, sucked into a black hole. So those astras are not there anymore. No more power there also. Teshu santeshu brahmastram.
Teshu shanteshu brahmastram.
Kshiptavan gadhinandanaha.
Kshiptavan gadhinandanaha.
Tadastramudyamya drishtva. Tadastramudyam drishtva.
Tajastram drishva.
Deva sagni purogamaha.
Deva sagri purogamaha.
Devarshayascha sambhrantaha.
Devarshayascha sambhranta.
Gandharvaha samahoragaha.
Gandharva samohra.
Don't read. Close your eyes. Listen and repeat. Gandharva samahoragaha.
Gandharvaha
Samahoragaha. Trailokyamasit santrastam
त्रैलोक्यमासीत् संत्रस्तं
brahmastre samudirite.
ब्रह्मास्ते समुदीरिते.
So after all these astras were released and they all failed, teshu santeshu, in the suppression of all those astras, Gadhinandanaha, Gadhi's son Viśwāmitra, brahmastram kshiptavan. Finally, he released the brahmastra. Brahmastra is the most dangerous one, and it should be never released. Even that, finally, Viśwāmitra released it. Tadastram udyatam drishtva. By looking at that astra which is coming up, devaha, all the gods, sa agni purogamaha. So we should see, these are the important qualifiers. Story is one part, but what we wanted to learn from this is, hey, what is our culture? What are the subtle items of our culture? So devaha always agni purogamaha. They always have Agni in their front. So Agni, because he is the Purohita of the Devas, right? In a way. Agni Vile Purohitam, first very mantra. So Devaha sa Agni Purogama. They always keep Agni in their front and then, approach. And when they go, typically that's how they go first to Brahma. And when Brahma also cannot help and they say, okay, let's go to Vishnu, then Brahman Puraskritya. They keep Brahma in their front and Brahma is leading them. So they always are united to work under one leader. Not egoistically, oh, that leader is there. No, I also want to become, I'll form my own another party. Not like that. Always are united and work in unison under one leadership. That is most important quality of Devatas. And we should all learn that. We should acquire that Daiva Lakshana to work under leadership, put our ego aside, express our opinions, but continue with the collective decision. That is our Sanghakari Paddhati also. So Sagni Purogamaha, Devarshayascha, all the Devarshis, Sambhrantaha, all of them were like, wow, what is going on, man? Brahmastra is released. Now what is going to happen? How should we, solve this, address this, or how should we correct it later? Sambhrantaha. Not only Devarshis, Gandharvaha. And Gandharvaha, sa Mahoragaha, along with Mahauragas, along with the big reptiles. Sa Mahoragaha, Trailokyam Asit Santrastam. With this Brahmastra being released, along with all these, gods with Agni in their front, Devarshis, Gandharvaha, along with Mahoragas, along with them, Trailokyam, all the three worlds also, Santrastam, they were all trasta. Trasta is stressed. Santrastam, they were all terribly stressed. All three worlds with this Brahmastram that was released. Trailokyam Asit Santrastam Brahmastre Samudirite. In this Brahmastra which was released and is coming up to destroy everything, all the three worlds were, scared and sort of observing what next. Tadapyastram Mahaghoram.
Tadapyastram Mahaghoram.
Brahmam Brahmena Tejasa.
Brahmam Brahmena Tejasa.
Vasiṣṭho grasate sarvam.
Vasiṣṭho grasate sarvam.
Brahmadandena Raghava.
Brahmadandena Raghava.
So with Brahmadanda, Tadapi, even though the entire all worlds are shit scared, but Tadapi, even that Brahmastram, Mahaghoram Brahmastram also, Brahmena means which is Brahmadanda, Tejasa Brahmadandena, Vasiṣṭha grasate sarvam. All the devastating power of that brahmastra was also sucked by the brahmadanda of Vasiṣṭha. So no problem, no worries. Brahmastram grasamanasya
Brahmastram grasamanasya
Vasiṣṭhasya mahatmanah
vasiṣṭhasya mahatmanah
Trailokya mohanam raudram
trailokya mohanam raudram
Rupamasit sudarunam.
rupamasit sudarunam.
So Brahmastram grasamanasya. Now, grasam is, as we said, right, suck and swallow, whatever, right? Like consume it, like vacuuming. So grasamanasya, Brahmastram grasamanasya Mahatmanah Vasiṣṭhasya Rupam Trailokya Mohanam Sudarunam Asit. So the form of Vasiṣṭha, who was sucking, and rather who was, what do you say, digesting, or who was burning, or who was destroying, or what do you say? No, I'm trying to find the right action of what is happening.
Absorbing.
Absolving. Correct. Absolving. So, of the form of Vasiṣṭha, who is absolving even the Brahmastra, seemed Trailokya Mohanam. All the three worlds, what? We thought there will be a big devastation, but he's able to just absolve it so easily, so simply. Trailokya Mohanam. All the three worlds were mesmerized, awestruck, whelmed. So Trailokya Mohanam and Raudram. At the same time, he was very fierceful, right? Because every astra he's holding it with his brahmadanda. And what a fool is this, or what an improper kshatriya is this viśwāmitra. Why is he fighting and destroying and wasting all the astras, which he should ideally be using against Rakshasas? He is wasting on me. So in that Raudram, Sudarunam Rupam Asit. It was a terrifying Rupam Asit of Vasiṣṭha Mahatma. Romakupeshu Sarveshu
Sarveshu
Vasiṣṭhasya Mahatmanah
Vasiṣṭhasya Mahatmanah
Marichya Iva Nishpeshtuhu
Marichya Iva Nishpeshtuhu
Agner Dhumakularchishaha.
Agner Dhumar Kular Chishaha.
Agner Dhumakularchisha Akulaha. Romakupeshu Sarveshu Vasiṣṭhasya Mahatmanah. Of the Mahatma Vasiṣṭha, in all the Romakupa, in all the skin pores, Marichya Iva. Marichi means Kiranam. Marichaye Namaha, we do, right, in Namaskar. So Marichya is Kiranas, one with so many rays of light is Marichi. So Marichi is one ray. Marichya is Bahuvachana. Marichya is several rays. In each of his skin pore, Romakupa, where each hole through which we have hairs coming out, right? From all those Romakupas, it seemed like so much of light rays are coming out of him. Nishpetuhu, they were coming out. Just as Agnehe Dhuma Akula Archishaha, Dhuma Vyapta Tejasaha Agnehe. Just as fire, when Agni sets out, after destroying everything, there is going to be still fire, but lot of dhuma, lot of smoke around. But that smoke also will be divine, great smoke. Likewise, Vasiṣṭha, with his anger, after absolving all the astras, this is a visual, visual depiction, right? It's a visual for us to imagine. So his body was looking like light coming out from every whole of his body, all the Romakupas, all the skin pores, through all of them, light all around. And so with that light, it seemed like, because when there is so much of light, you cannot see anything else. So the simile used there is, even though there is fire, if there is smoke around, then you cannot see anything. That means unseeable, meaning Durdharshaha was another such adjective we have seen several times. Durdharshaha is this, that because of that light, you cannot even face him. You cannot stand before him. That is Durdharshaha. So likewise, Akulaha is Vyaptaha, surrounded by. Just as Agnehe, Dhumaha, Akulaha, Archishman is Vishnu or Narayana. So Surya Narayana is also Archishaha. So just as Archish with Agni and Dhuma cannot be seen or cannot be withstood by, so also was Mahatma Vasiṣṭha, with so much of Marichya, with so many sun rays, he's looking that you cannot even look at him. So fearful, so terrifying is Vasiṣṭha now. Prajvalat Brahmadandascha.
Prajvalat Brahmadandascha.
Vasiṣṭhasya karodyataha.
Vasiṣṭhasya karodyataha.
Vidhuma iva kalagnihi.
Vidhuma iva kalagnihi.
Yamadanda ivaparaha.
Yamadanda ivaparaha.
Again, Valmiki is praising with the same adjective. Yamadanda, Kaladanda, Kalagnihi. So Vasiṣṭha, his Vasiṣṭhasya Kara Udyataha. The Kara Udyataha Brahmadandaha. Udyataha is raising. That means the danda which normally if you hold here, it is at this level. But if you raise it so high, that is Kara Udyataha Brahmadandaha. That Brahmadandaha Prajvalat. It was glowing with fire, meaning it was lighting up. That means it is effective and is powerful. So Prajvalat, Vasiṣṭhasya Karodyataha Brahmadandaha Prajvalat. Not only is Vasiṣṭha's himself is glowing with all that infinite light from all his sun pores as Marichyaha, his Brahmadanda also Prajvalat. Even that is lit with the glow, with light. Brahmadandascha Prajvalat Vidhuma iva Kalagnihi. Just as Kalagnihi without any smoke. So whereas so Kalagnihi Vidhuma iva Yamadandaha ivaparaha. Just as when Kalagni comes, that Vishesha Dhumaha all around, it is going to, there is nothing more that you can see. It will become so dark or so bright, either ways, that anything that you cannot see. So Tatha iva aparaha, aparaha Yamadandaha iva Kalagnihi Vidhumaha iva Vasiṣṭhasya Kara Udyataha Brahmadandaha cha Prajvalat. That is the visual given to us to sort of imagine the situation there. Tatostuvan munigana.
Tostuvan munigana.
Vasiṣṭham japatam varam.
Vasiṣṭham japadam varam.
Amogham te balam brahman.
Amogham te balam brahman.
Tejo dharaya tejasa.
Tejo dharayate jasa.
So now Vasiṣṭha is, as we said, with infinite light, he is glowing. So Tataha muniganaha, all the teams of Muni, all the groups of Munis, they have Astuvan, they have started praising Stotram. They have started praising, doing Stotra to Vasiṣṭha. Astuvan Japatam Varam Vasiṣṭham. Again Japatam Varam. See, over and over Valmiki is reminding us that Vasiṣṭha, his unique property or unique characteristic to remember is Japatam Varaha. So Japatam varam vasiṣṭham muniganaha tataha astuvan. They all praised him. What did they say? Amogham te balam brahman. Oh Brahman, your balam is amogham. Amogham, oh, super, magnificent. Tejo dharaya tejasa. All this tejas that has come up, please, retrieve it back, retract it back. Tejo dharaya tejasa, with your tejas only. Balam amogham mithyasam sargashunyam atah tejasa swashaktya tejaha brahmadandojvalanam dharaya upashamaya. So dharaya here means upashamanam. Please suppress it, clear it, clear all this agni dhuma, all this that have come out of you because of your power, divine spiritual power and anger yogic power. Kindly take it back, retrieve it back, or retract it back. All the gods are praising him or doing praying him. Nigrahitas tvaya brahman.
निगृहीतस्त्वया ब्रह्मन्
Viśwāmitro mahatapaha.
विश्वामित्रो महातपः
Prasida japatam sreshtha.
प्रसीद जपतां श्रेष्ठ
Lokah santu gatavyatha.
लोकाः सन्तु गतव्यथाः
Gatavyatha.
गतव्यथाः
Vyatha is pain, grief. Vyatha. Gatavyatha, relieved of pain. Let santu, let lokaha, let all the worlds be ridden of the pain. Because of all these astras and all that have released, so much of pollution probably all around, right? So everybody is like suffering. So kindly prasida is cool down. You cool down. Once you cool down, everything else in the world cools down. So only we say, anyway, lack of time, so I will not take that example. It's a political example, but anyway, we'll not take that. So what we say is, good people, divine people, spiritual people, never hurt them. Because if you hurt them, all worlds will go crazy. All worlds will be suffering. Because not that they will do anything. The world itself will feel sorry and suffer automatically. The climate, the nature, everything will automatically react, respond. Naturally, they will respond with all the devastating powers of theirs. And so we should not disturb them. We should always worship them, keep them cool. That is one lesson. With this prasida prayer, prasida prabho venkatesha, we say, cool down, please, bless us, cool down, cool down. So prasida japatam sreshtha, oh best of the, again, japa, those who do japa. Japam karoti iti japai, tesham japatam sreshtha. Hey, tasya sambodhana japatam sreshtha. So japatam sreshtha, anyway, tvaya, by you, nigrahitaha, he is already put down. Nigrahitaha, he is already taken over. Tvaya, he is already taken over by you. Brahman, tvaya mahatapaha viśwāmitraha nigrahitaha. Hey Brahman, anyway, that great Mahatapa who went and did that big tapas and got the boons from Mahadeva for all these astras, such a great Mahatapa, Viśwāmitra, is anyway already taken over by you, won over by you. You have won over him. So now what's the point? Cool down is what they are saying. Prasida, please cool down, so that lokaha gatavyathaha santu, let all the worlds be relieved of this grief and pain. Eva mukto mahateja.
Eva mukto mahateja.
Shamam chakre mahatapa.
Shamam chakre mahatapah.
Viśwāmitropi nikruto
विश्वामित्रोऽपि निकृतो
vinishvasyedam abravit.
विनिश्वस्येदमब्रवीत्.
So eva muktaha mahatejaha. And thus, after listening to all this prayer by all the munis, mahatejaha, mahatapaha, Viśwāmitraha api nikritaha. Nikritaha is cut. Parabhutaha. Parabhuta means defeated, conquered, won over. So Viśwāmitraha api nikritaha, mahatejaha, mahatapaha, shamam chakre. Shamam means shantim. Shantim chakre. He finally cooled down and came back to peace. Nikritaha parabhutaha Viśwāmitraha api. So finally Viśwāmitra also, next two slokas is the saramsha, sara of this entire episode. Nikritaha means parabhutaha Viśwāmitraha api vinishvasya, with a sigh. With a sigh, S-A-G-H. With a sigh, vinishvasya idam abravit. Even though that mahatapaha, mahatejaha, finally he sighed and said this. What did he say? Dhigbalam kshatriya balam.
धिग्बलं क्षत्रियबलं
Brahmatejo balam balam.
ब्रह्मतेजो बलं बलं
Ekena brahmadandena.
एकेन ब्रह्मदण्डेन
Sarvastrani hatani me.
सर्वास्त्राणि हतानि मे.
This is what finally Viśwāmitra realized. Dhik balam. Dhik means what? Chal. Something like that. An expression of failure, an expression of indignancy is dhik in Sanskrit. Dhik, they say. Dhik means like that. So dhik balam kshatriya balam. My kshatriya bala is dhik, is useless. Brahma tejo balam balam. Brahma tejaha itself is the balam. The strength that comes out of the Brahma teja is the balam, is the strength. Kshatriya balam dhik. Why? Because ekena brahmadandena. He just had only one thing called brahmadanda. By that, with that, ekena brahmadandena, sarvani astrani hatani. All my astras are dead, or killed, or suppressed. Are dhik, what is this balam that I have, kshatriya balam? All these astras, shastras that I have acquired. No, there is something more that this vasiṣṭha has, which seems like to be that Brahma tejaha. So, tadetat samavekshyaham.
तदेतत् समवेक्ष्याहम्
Prasannendriyamanasah
प्रसन्नेन्द्रियमानसः
tapo mahat samasthasye
तपो महत्समास्तास्ये
yadvai brahmatva karanam.
यद्वै ब्रह्मत्वकारणम्.
So finally he realized, oh, my kshatriya bala, all these astras, these are, for ordinary people, this might be good to win over them. But with this Brahma Teja of Vasiṣṭha, who is already Brahmana, Sutaha, is the son of Brahma, no, none of my astras are able to be of any value before him, of any power before him. So he realized that and he said, Tad means Tad Brahma Balam, Tad Brahma Tejaha, Etat Samavekshya, by looking at all this, by observing all this that has happened. With just one Brahmadanda, he could control everything. Samaveksha, Aveksha is look, observe. Ikshanam is eye, sight. Aveksha, by looking at it thoroughly. Prasanna Indriya Manasaha. Now he has realized. And so he cooled down because we saw it. Shantam chakra, Shamam chakre, Mahatejaha, Mahatapaha, Viśwāmitraha. because he is now cooled down and came to peace terms. So he is now prasanna indriya manasaha, pleased heart, pleased mind and indriya senses. He came back to senses. So far he lost all his senses. He came back to senses. And with that pleased heart and senses, tapaha mahat samasthasye. I shall again go for mahat tapaha. I shall do another great tapas to acquire that Brahma Teja from Brahma directly. Now, Mahadeva, Astras, no, I want Brahma Teja, just as Vasiṣṭha has. So, mahat tapaha samasthasye, asthasye, sthasye means tishtati, tishthe in Uttama Purusha. Saha tishtati, aham tishthe. Bhavishyat kalam sthasye, saha sthasyati, aham sthasye. Asthasye, I shall stand forever as long as I get that Brahma Teja. Samyak asthasye, asthasye, I shall do it so thoroughly, so properly, so long till I get that Brahma Tejas. Why? Yadvai brahmatva karanam. Why? For the reason of brahmatvam. To get that brahmatvam. From kshatriyatvam, I want to now transcend to the level of brahmatvam. Because he realized, kshaddhik kshatriya balam. That is what even Vasiṣṭha started. Kvachate kshatriya balam, kvacha brahma balam divyam. Started Vasiṣṭha. And finally, Viśwāmitra has seen it and realized, oh yeah, Vasiṣṭha is correct. Kshatriya balam is insufficient or incapable before Brahma balam, the Brahma Tejas. So I shall get that Brahma Tejas. And so for that, mahat tapaha samasthasye. Why? Because yadvai brahmatva karanam. Because brahmanya padakam, to get that Brahma's padavi or Brahma's certification, Brahma's authorization, so that I also get that Brahma Teja. Then I will be invincible. He realized it. Ityarshe Srimad Ramayane
Srimad Ramayane
Valmikiye
Valmikiye
Adikavye
Adikavye
Balakande
Balakande
Shatpanchasha Sargaha.
षट्पञ्चाशत् सर्गः.
Stop.